Hello everyone. As we all know that the CBME curriculum for the undergraduate medical students has been rolled out from the batch 2019, and the logbook submission is the one of the eligibility criteria for the appearing in university examination. So basically here I am sharing my experience of preparing the CBME general cum logbook and keeping the relevant points from the logbook module, which is released by the NMC. So now I'm showing you the logbook. So on first page, I have mentioned that it is the name of the university, Krantiguru Shyamji Krishna Verma Kutch University, Bhuj, and logbook cum general of the pediatrics. And after that, on second page, some personal details of the student, date of admission, date of the beginning of the current fees, and then a registration number. And here a student will paste the recent photo. And after that, this certificate that student has completed these criteria, attendance criteria, internal assessment criteria, and the logbook completion. So according to this, we have to give the certificate to the student. So a student is eligible for appearing in the exam, university exam or not. And next page, I have mentioned the index. It is general instruction, explanation of the logbook table, and then there are table 1 to 4 on next pages. Then according to the phase 2, phase 3 part 1 and phase 3 part 2 competencies, because we know the clinical posting in phase 2 will be of 30 hours, and in phase 3 part 1 and part 2 it will be of 72 hours. So according to that, I have divided the competencies, and then some case histories, and then certifiable competency I have mentioned, and then reflective writing, then the attendance record, and the notes and the leave records in this logbook. So these are the general instruction, which is also mentioned in the logbook module, which is released by the NMC. So these are the general instruction, which is common. Now, next page, I have mentioned that the explanation of the each column in the logbook table, because according to the each competency, we have to certify that the student has completed that competency. So in this short form, F means in first attempt, student has completed the activity. Repeat R, if repeat of a previous done activity, and if any remedial activity based on the determination of the faculty, then RE. And the rating we have to give below expectation B, meet expectation M, and exceed expectation E. And then decision of the faculty, C for activity is completed, R for activity need to be repeated, and RE for in which the remedial action was required. And now in this table, you can see this is the teaching hours in the pediatrics. So total teaching hours in pediatrics according to the latest change in the CBME is 294 hours are in the pediatric subjects. And these are divided into clinical and the lectures and small group discussion and self-directed learning. So in phase 2, only clinical posting of 2 weeks. And in this, student will come 5 days in a week and every day 3 hours. So total 30 hours student will be in phase 2, come for the clinical posting. In phase 3 part 1, 4 weeks clinical posting will be there. And in phase 3, student will come for 6 days in a week. So total 72 hours the student will be in phase 3 part 1 for the clinical posting. And for lectures, 20 hours are allotted. And for a small group discussion, 30 hours. And for self-directed learning, 5 hours in phase 3 part 1. Now in phase 3 part 2, clinical posting will remain same. 72 hours, lectures 20 hours, small group discussion 35 hours, and the self-directed learning hours 10 hours. So total 294 hours as mentioned in the NMC for the pediatric subjects. So now the distribution of the competencies according to the teaching learning method, which is mentioned in the NMC module for the pediatrics. So in phase 2, in clinical posting, these are the competency numbers. So these competency numbers, as mentioned here, will be taught by the bedside clinic, and some of the competency will be taught by the small group discussion, and few by the dope session, demonstration, observation, assist, and the performance dope session. And in phase 3 part 2, as we know, lectures will also be there. So few of the competency in by the didactic lecture or some interactive lecture or by the flipped classroom, we can teach all these competencies by the lectures. And by small group teaching, SGT, these competency, as mentioned, 30 hours for the small group teaching. So these competency I will teach by the small group teaching. And few of the competency in which we can teach by the self-directed learning. And these are the competency which will be in clinical posting by the dope session, bedside teaching, and a small group discussion. So total 406 competencies are there, and all these are divided in 294 hours. As I have mentioned here, 294 hours, and total competency in the pediatrics are 406. And in phase 3 part 2, again, I have divided according to the lecture, small group teaching and self-directed learning as the guideline, and dope session and bedside. So total 406 competencies in the pediatrics, which will be divided into the lectures, small group teaching, self-directed learning, and clinical posting will be further divided into dope session, bedside teaching, and small group discussion. So the competency in which we need that we have to perform and we have to demonstrate can be taken by the dope session. Few of the competency in which we have to teach bedside will be in the bedside teaching, and few of the competency which can be taught by the small group discussion I have put into the SGT. So now in the table 3, this is the record of internal assessment examination. So total marks of the internal assessment for the theory out of 100, and the practical again out of 100. So these marks will be converted into 100 marks in the theory and the clinical. And in phase 2, there will be first end of the posting examination, or we can say ward ending examination will be taken. So it will be out of 50. And in phase 3 part 1, again the ward ending exam out of 50 marks, and the first internal assessment marks of the theory and of the practical both, and out of 100, and second internal assessment marks. So according to the NMC guideline, at least we have to take the 2 formative assessment. So that's why in the phase 3 part 1, I have mentioned that the first internal assessment, second internal assessment, theory and practical both, and these ward ending exam also. Similarly, in the phase 3 part 2, when the student will be in the part 2 final year, then they same end of the posting, because 4 weeks posting will be there. First internal assessment of the theory and practical, and then preliminary examination will be there. So in next table, I will show you how these marks weightage will be there, because we have to convert all these marks into 100. So in this table, you can see how I have distributed the internal assessment mark. So as we know, logbook is the eligibility criteria. So now logbook submission is the compulsory for the appearing in university examination. So for the logbook, at least 5 marks should be, we have to put minimum 5 marks, because it is the eligibility criteria. So when the student will come into the phase 2 and a student will complete the all the competencies which we will teach, and even the certifiable competency, because 23 certifiable competency in the pediatrics, total 406, out of these 23 are the certifiable competency. So for the logbook in phase 2, 5 marks. For ward ending exam, this will be 5 out of 100. And in phase 3 part 1, student will complete the logbook part of the phase 3 part 1. Again 5 marks. Ward ending exam 5 marks. First internal assessment theory 10 and practical also 10. Second internal assessment theory 20 and practical 10. And in phase 3 part 2 logbook again 10. So total logbook weightage is 10 plus 5 plus 5. So 20 marks are out of 100 is for the logbook only. So a student will complete it, and it is the compulsory for the appearance in the exam also. And in ward ending, practical marks in phase 3 part 2 10, first internal 30 and practical 10, and preliminary examination, as we know, this is the just before the university examination, so weightage should be given more for this. So it is 40 theory marks and 30 practical. So total is 100 for the theory and practical 100. Now I am going to show you that in all the competency, as I have divided according to the phase. So this is phase 2 competency. So for phase 2 competency number P1.4, in which a student has to perform the anthropometric measurement and it document in growth chart and interpretant. And for the 23 certifiable competency, I have mentioned this line that this competency is the certifiable competency, and also performance number which will be required to certify this competency are 3. So a student has to perform this competency at least 3 times, then only we will certify. So date of the completion, then attempt, first, repeat or remedial measures were required, rating below expectation, meet expectation or exceeded, then the decision of the faculty, completed, repeat or remedial, then the signature of the faculty with the date and the feedback received and the signature of the learner. So, and for each and every certifiable competency, I have put some kind of information for the student and also the checklist. So there should not be a variation between examiner to examiner or between faculty to faculty. So some few aspects about the physical growth, formulas for the weight a student has to learn, and the simple weight calculation for the newborn and infant, how the weight increase, all these I have mentioned over here. Also about the height and length, and these are the pictures, and then formula for the height calculation, then normal length or height at the particular age, and then this is mid-parental height, then about the head circumference and head circumference rate, and then this is the picture showing the head circumference, then about the mid upper arm circumference, few important aspects about the MUSE, and this is the picture of Sharkey tape, and this is the image showing that measuring the MUSE by Sharkey tape. Then this is the WHO classification of the malnutrition. Now the checklist. So after each and every certifiable competency, I have mentioned some important points for the student, that a student should be able to remember all these points before we are checking And these are the checklists. Basically, students should also be aware that what we are going to check, actually what we are expecting from them, and also for the faculty. So because for each and every student, it's not possible for the one faculty to check each and every student. As in our college we are having 150 student, in some college there are 250 students. So obviously there will be a variation from observer to observer. So for this, I have prepared this checklist. So every faculty should check that the student is able to take the height or length correctly. The student is able to plot the height or length for age on the growth chart correctly. A student is able to make the weight, able to plot the weight, midpoint, able to mark the midpoint, able to make the MUSC using the Saki tape. So all these points I have put into the checklist. So there will be no in between variability between the observer to observer. And this is the growth chart according to the WHO for the boys and girls. I have put here. It is according to the Indian Academy of Pediatrics and the WHO guidelines. So similarly for the other competency also, as in this, perform the developmental assessment and interpret it. So similarly in this also, I have mentioned some basic about the development. So, and some important pictures related to this. So a student should be able to remember. And these are the basic milestones which a student should remember all these. And after that, the student should calculate the DQ, developmental quotient. And then this is again the checklist for the developmental milestone. And this is the Trivandrum developmental screening chart, which we generally ask the student how they will basically assess the development and how they will know that child is having the normal development or delayed development. And for the competency which is not certifiable, I have just simply put the number of the competency and this table in which the student has completed this particular competency or not. So only for certifiable competency, 23 competency, I have mentioned some information and the checklist, which is compulsory for each and every student to complete it. So these are the competency of the phase 2. And now example in this competency, it is again certifiable competency. So in this, observe the correct technique of breastfeeding and distinguish right from the wrong technique. So in this, and a student should be performance number which will be required to certify this competency are 3. So again, I have mentioned this line, and then after that, some information about the breastfeeding, which we are going to ask and we are going to observe. So these are the some pictures, and then after that, this is the checklist for this competency. So a student is able to explain the good position sign, good attachment sign, and able to distinguish right from the wrong technique or not. After that, the teacher will sign and certify. So these are the competency under the phase 2. Now the phase 3 part 1 competency, in which in clinical posting 72 hours are there, 4 weeks posting. So these are the competency I have included in phase 3 part 1 about the breastfeeding and about the nutritional history, calorie calculation, nutritional status assessment, about the diet. So more complicated competency I have included in phase 3 part 2. In part 1, I have included all the competency about the feeding and nutrition. So this is about the BMI. So now this is the certifiable competency. So again, in this, calculate the BMI, document in the BMI chart and interpret it. Again, a student is supposed to perform it 3 times. So about the BMI, this is the formula for the BMI, and this is the checklist for the BMI. And this is the BMI graph for the boys and girls. As we know, the importance of BMI is after the 5 years. So these are between 5 to 18 years. So again, some other competency about the vitamin deficiency. So like this, I have prepared the logbook and I'm sharing my experience. Maybe it is fruitful for other faculties also, those who are preparing the logbook for the pediatric subject and even for the other subject also. Basically, first you have to see the how many hours NMC has allotted for particular subject and how many competencies are there. So example in PEDIA, I said that 294 hours and 406 competency. And again, we have to divide how many competency will be covered in the clinical posting, how will be covered in the theory classes in the form of lectures and SGD and the SDL is self-directed learning. And after that, you have to plan out which competency you will cover in the clinical posting, and those will be covered in the clinical posting. We will teach in the clinical posting should be mentioned in the logbook. And all the certifiable competency, at least its students should be aware that which competency we are going to assess and certify, because after the we will certify that a student has completed this 23 competency, logbook will be completed, and only after that a student will be able to appear in the university examination. So we should give some weightage to the logbook, and also we should mention some criteria for the certifiable competency as I have mentioned in this. So this is again the certifiable competency. So assess the patient for the fitness for the immunization and prescribe age appropriate immunization schedule. So for this, I have mentioned this immunization schedule, national immunization schedule, and this is the checklist for this. So similarly in phase 3 part 1, I have mentioned all these competency about the normal neonate, because we generally cover the neonate in 6th semester. We teach the neonate in 6th semester. So that's why all these competency about the neonates also I have mentioned in the phase 3 part 1. So all these are now some competency about the respiratory system. Perform the otoscopic examination of the ear, throat examination, and examination of the nose. All these competency about the upper respiratory tract. Now these are the according to IMSCI. So I am scrolling down all these. So more complex competency I have put into the part 2. In part 1, just some simple one. So this is again the certifiable competency in phase 3 part 1. Identify BCG scar. So students should be able to identify at least 3 times. So for this, I have put some pictures about it. So when we are giving the BCG vaccine intradermal injection, this is the picture. Then after 2 to 4 weeks, papule formation, and after at the age of 3 to 4 months, BCG scar formation. So this is the checklist. A student is able to identify the correct site and the able to recognize the response and reaction to BCG vaccine. Now the interpretive Montauk's test. So similarly for this also, some information about the MT test, TST, tuberculin sensitivity test. and how the student will interpret it. And then after that, some pictures about the Montauk's. So this is a picture of a patient, and this is on the mannequin, and this is again on the patient. So this is the again checklist for this. And similarly for the perform the AFB staining. So some principle of the AFB stain here, and then this is the flow diagram showing how to perform the AFB staining, then how interpretation will be done. And this is the picture image of the AFB staining. So then this is reporting of the AFB stain, and after that all these competency have been mentioned in the phase 3 part 1. Now in the phase 3 part 2, similarly as in the part 1, I have mentioned all the competency, and for the certifiable competency I have mentioned some information which we are going to assess, and students should be aware about this at least. So all these are the competency in the phase 3 part 2. So similarly for those which are not certifiable, I have just mentioned the name of the competency and then this table. This table is basically given in the logbook module, which is released by the NNC. So again, this is the competency which is certifiable, perform the nasogastric tube insertion in a mannequin. This is performance number which is required to certify this competency are 2. So for this competency, basically I have put the link for this because I have uploaded a video on nasogastric feeding tube insertion. So all the details are there. So for this one competency, I have mentioned this link, and this is the checklist for this competency, what we are going to check. Similarly for the perform the IV cannulation in a mannequin. So these are the steps of IV cannulation, and then these are the some of the pictures how the student will perform the IV cannulation. So these are the some of the basic steps. Now the secure IVSS in a simulated environment. So for both these competency, both are certifiable. I have mentioned a common checklist. And this is also the certifiable competency, intraosseous insertion. So these are the steps, and this is the picture showing the intraosseous insertion. So this is the checklist. So similarly for all the competency in which it is certifiable, I have mentioned some details. So this is for assess the airway breathing, recognize the sign of severe respiratory distress, check for the cyanosis in drawing and grunting. So for this competency, I have mentioned some of the basic point. The student is able to interpret all these signs of the respiratory distress. So some basic information. Then these are the pictures about the respiratory distress. Now again, this is the competency which is certifiable, airway management. So these are the some of the basic steps and the pictures about this. And this is the checklist. So these are the very important competency which is certified. And for all these certifiable competency, I have put the pictures and details so the student will be able to understand easily. And when we are going to check, when we are going to examine, then according to this checklist, we have to ask the things. So again, Beg mass ventilation is a certifiable competency. And for this, all the indication, all the guidelines I have mentioned, and this is a flow chart. And these are the some of the pictures about the Beg mass ventilation. This is the MR SOPA, And this is a checklist for the Beighton mass ventilation. Now the sign of shock, and this is also the certifiable competency. So for this, again, I have mentioned this picture, and this is the checklist. And for the blood pressure measurement, these are the steps, and this is the pictures. And this is the checklist for both BP measurement and the pulse rate measurement. So for the fluid calculation, this is the flow diagram, how the student will manage the case of shock. And then severe dehydration. Again, it is the certifiable competency. The student should be able to assess the sign of severe dehydration. So what are the signs of severe dehydration, and also the checklist for the dehydration. And this is again the certifiable competency. So again, this is the table showing Glasgow Coma score. So all these competency I have covered in the phase 3 part 2. So this table for the basic life support, this is the certifiable. So after all these competency, I have put the few pages for. So all the competency I have covered according to the phase 2, phase 3, part 1, phase 3, part 2. Now after that, I have put the pediatric history taking performa, in which the general information of the patient, then the chief complaint, ODP, it is the standard, then negative history, then the past history, then the all the relevant points, then the family history, and this is the pedigree chart, then the birth history, again antenatal, natal, and the postnatal, and after that immunization history. So this table, so the student should take the proper immunization history according to the all the doses. Then the feeding and dietary history, in which students should mention about the breastfeeding, about the any pre-lactal feed, any toe feed, then when the weaning was started, then the about the diet, how much calorie patient is consuming, how much is expected, how much is the deficit. Similarly for the protein. And in developmental history, all these are the gross motor, fine motor milestone a student is supposed to ask. And in anthropometry, student should measure all these anthropometry parameter and should calculate all these, and also mention according to IAP and WHO classification. And then general physical examination. And after general physical examination, systemic examination. So similar pediatric history performa, I have mentioned few performa. So after that, I'm scrolling down. So next I will show you. So few pediatric history performa I have put here. And so after that, I have mentioned the table of certifiable competencies. So in this, all the 23 certifiable competencies and how many times a student is supposed to perform it. So after this faculty signature with the date. So just this table is to guide the student. So a student should know what we are going to check during the clinical posting and in ward ending. So total 23 certifiable competencies in the pediatric subject, and this is the numbers. Now after that, few pages about the reflective writings, because it is also the compulsory, and in NMC it is mentioned that a student should write the reflection, what they have learned in the form of what happened, so what, and what next. So these are the few pages about the reflective writing. And after that, this is the attendance record. So attendance, and the remarks. If a student is taking leave for any reason, we can put the remarks, and in last few pages for the notes. So this is my experience of the preparing logbook. Maybe it is helpful for you all. So thank you so much.